do not honor the international loan agreements that you bring in for the visa applications. So they are going to give an international loan to me for the visa process.
Even in my parallel mind, I was thinking कि ठीक है यार, एक brand name तो apply करना ही चाहिए ना. I mean, it's not like कि आग बंद करके श्री ने बोला होगा मुझे और मैंने आग बंद करके उसको believe कर लिया होगा.
नहीं, ये तो does more research.
हाँ, I mean, he is the guy who will put 110% of his effort doing the research.
Yes.
Connected with multiple people. जो information यूनिवर्सिटी की वेबसाइट पर नहीं है, निकाल कर लेकर आएगा कहीं से. भाई मैंने ये ढूंढा है. कहाँ से ढूंढा? LinkedIn पे कोई मिला था, उसने बताया.
The journey has been commendable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
वहाँ जाके भी journey का ही है. श्री हरि Duke's offer मिल गया, but the journey then वहाँ से it has
journey still holds.
Absolutely.
ऐसे
कि मतलब photography क्यों नहीं mainly choose किया? How were you sure कि मुझे finance में जाना है?
Photography is my way to lighten me up.
Right.
When I hold the camera, I just forget about everything that I have.
So why not live
Have
for
you
what
seen
you
this?
love?
Huh?
Why not live for what you love if you're loving that?
I do not want to make it a medium for earning money, because once you start earning money from something, you stop loving it, to be very honest. You stop working towards the money and stop working towards your love. I think I'm speaking a lot, but I'm
Please.
Happy realizations really.
Hi everyone, welcome to another podcast from our series of Fall 2024 Admits. And today we have with us our brilliant student Shri Hari. Welcome to the podcast, Shri Hari. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great, yeah. Thank you. ठीक है, तो first of all, let's start with this. कितने offers हैं?
6 apply किया था, 5 जगह से आगे भी एक तो आ रहा है.
Waiting for one.
Northeastern.
अच्छा, and बाकी कहाँ से आए हैं?
If I start by the dates, by the offers, when the offers came, so fellow came the very first.
Right.
Then was the Fordham School of Business with $30,000 scholarship. Then came in Rochester. Yeah, Rochester came in next with 20% scholarship, which amounted around $18,000. Then came in Maryland. Maryland came fourth. Yeah, Maryland came fourth. Then the pinnacle of all, Duke School of Business.
Great, congrats. Yeah. How does it feel to be the Duke admit?
So for the last almost more than a week, I've been interacting with a lot of Duke pass out students, the students who are passed out, the current students, and also the faculty. And for the entire year, I've been hearing about and reading about the Team Fuqua spirit. And for the last week, I've really experienced it. And for to say I'm sort of proud for now, but I think I'm
sort of proud.
Yeah, I'm coming forward to that.
Okay.
I'm a bit more anxious, bit too early for the course that I'm going to and for the cohort that is coming into it. I think I'm going to be an out of place student, but I'm going to kill it.
Perfect. So how excited are you? Excited ज़्यादा हो या anxious ज़्यादा हो?
Equal, I would say.
Almost equal, but I am very anxious.
Why are you anxious?
See, basically, as you mentioned, that we are on that early stage of that, the cohort that he's preparing for. That too, with all the prerequisites that he's holding, he's still one of the best applicant for the pool. But still, बहुत सारी चीजें अभी इंस्टॉल करना बाकी हैं. So we're working on that so that we can ace that 10-month journey out there when he's in Duke.
Perfect. ठीक है. Great. So Shri, you're here to share about your insights and the entire journey on what does it actually take to crack these top universities. ठीक है? तो ठीक है, शुरू से शुरू करते हैं.
Yeah.
So currently, where do you reside, by the way?
I reside in Palam Bihar, Gurgaon.
Born and brought up here?
No, born in Punjab, Pathankot. Then back in 2018, I wanted to pursue my bachelor's, my undergrad to be to precise. At University of Delhi. So I moved to my brother, and very soon my entire family shifted from Punjab to Gurgaon itself.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I haven't lived out of my home for even a month. So that's the other part why I'm anxious of moving to States, and I'll have to start living alone and start preparing my breakfast and the evening teas, which are currently served at my bedside, at my table.
कुकिंग आती है?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं.
Very proudly.
एक बारी भिंडी बनाई थी, बस वो भी जला दी थी.
ठीक है, great. So first time you will be staying away from your family entirely.
Yeah.
ठीक है, great. So as you mentioned कि अभी you basically hail from Punjab. You hail from Punjab. ठीक है. So are you the first one to move from your family? Yeah.
To states, to US?
to abroad, like out of India.
No. So my eldest brother, he just moved to Canada as a permanent resident about 2 years ago. Then my sister-in-law, she moved to Canada just last year. So I'll be the third one in the family, but the first one to move to United States. Although it was my eldest brother dream to because he's an engineer, he always wanted to move to States, but he's been getting much better opportunities in India, so yeah.
So he's just trying to fill in his shoes.
That's what I'm trying to fill in.
Okay. So how does it feel like कि भाई बहन दोनों Canada में है and now you are going to US? So not pretty much into the topic that we were speaking into, but because that's a pretty recent topic and that's hot as well regarding Canada. How are things in Canada? How are your brother and sister doing?
They're doing pretty good. My brother is working at Dell. He's making a hell lot of money. But what I think about Canada is that if you have the right skills, if you know where to apply them, then you can crack the best offers and best jobs in there. But looking at the cohort that is moving to Canada as of now, that's it's way more kind of people who were not able to crack a hell lot of things in India. They're finding it a backdoor entry to somewhere that they can start fresh. I interacted a lot with Dhrubai from the very beginning, and we talked about whether Canada could be a right fit for me. Although my first journey started from thinking about moving to Canada. That's why my brother also moved to Canada. So when you have an elder brother living in Toronto and you are planning to either get an admit from McMaster, McGill, or University of Toronto, then it all sounds a very big, very suitable, very comforting picture.
Yes.
When you'll be living with the family, you'll go into school, so it's all looks very homely. But then I decided that's not a very wise option because I was also going to the Master of Finance, and Canada does not have a lot of a lot of jobs in the financial domain as of now. Most of the jobs that I know of, because I interact with a lot of students who are working in the financial domain in Canada. So Canada basically is a back office to US firms, and that's what the entire job obligations are. And also the job obligations are not very exciting. They're much more of a clerical job in nature. So US brings this opportunity wherein you can work with the top financial institutions of the world, and then as you progress in your career, then you get the opportunity to work at the Wall Street, which we all know is the mecca of financial world.
Yeah. Perfect. How does it feel कि 5 ऑफर आ गया अभी एक और रहता है अभी, right? We are still.
How do you know कि ऑफर ही आने वाले हैं? I mean, that's a good thing.
That for sure. 5 स्कूल आ गए ध्रुव.
Waiting for the 6th offer, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does it feel कि 5 के 5 ऑफर आ गए श्री?
Bullseye. It feels amazing, because when we started, for some reason I was not very confident about my profile. But Dhrubai was very confident. Within the process, even I started getting confident about it, and that's the only reason we applied to Sunny Buffalo, right? Because I thought that there's something I need to crack. I was already preparing for CFA, so for me, university was not a preference. At that point in time, because I was very sure I'm gonna crack CFA and getting a university. So I know this episode from Suits, if you have watched it
entirely.
Yeah. So there is one job profile that one of the clients of not Mike, Lewis is looking for, and Donna goes in there with a with a bunch of resumes, and she shortlists one from Sunny Buffalo.
Yes.
The only reason was because Sunny Buffalo's the entire program is so practical that even if a student has its own skills and knowledge, they can work into the financial domain while gaining that experience and knowledge from Sunny Buffalo and can crack big time. So that
somewhere there in the parallel mind that he has to.
So I had that
eye for detail.
So I had that thing that no matter if I do not get into the best of the best universities, but if I can work on myself, I have this time for 5 months before I migrate to US.
Okay.
And then another 14-15 months while I'll be into the program. I have this 2 years, almost more than 2 years, where if I can work on myself and gain the parallel knowledge that Buffalo would provide, although it's not a very bad school, it's a good school. So if I do all of this parallelly, then yes, over the time it all depends upon what you're bringing to the table when you're looking for the job opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
Universities would help you for cracking, for just shortlisting, in the resume shortlisting route. Way forward from that is all about you. If you can,
how do you network? How do you make most of the
convince your recruiters? So that's where we started. So that's what I said. We need one offer letter by any chance. So let's go for Sunny Buffalo. Now from here we'll shortlist universities which are better than this, and we'll only go higher and higher.
Yep.
So the last one was Duke.
So it was like achieving a milestone because Buffalo was initially Kickstart, to be very honest. And, the moment Shri talked to me regarding, he started talking about universities कि भाई हम सही university set of schools ठीक तो है ना हमारे. Then I be like कि underconfident है. The only reason is his the quality that he holds की pros and cons देखने सबसे पहले मेरे को. And that instilled in him एक factor जिससे बहुत ज़्यादा underconfident हो जाता है. But that thing जिसमें pros and cons देखना आता है श्री को, that eventually become the advantageous thing for him, and that has helped us to achieve these big offers now. Yeah.
Perfect. Shri, in your statement, you mentioned this particular thing. I was pretty unsure starting about my profile. Why were you exactly unsure?
So the thing is that I'm going for Masters of Finance, but I do not have an experience into the financial domain for a long period of time. I've worked as an audit associate with KPMG for almost 1.5 years, which is around the financial domain itself, but it's not core investment banking profile, right? Okay. Then I pivoted to a different firm wherein I'm working almost, it's been 7 to 8 months now. I'm working as a financial analyst there. If I quote it precisely, I'm an equity research analyst. So then again, it's just an equity research analyst what I'm doing. It's not entirely, I do not know the entire financial domain. How do we calculate the entire valuations? How do we mergers and acquisitions and all that? The core of the investment banking portfolio. I was not very confident about that. Okay. So considering all this, paired with my GMAT score, which was not very high, let's not do this. So I was thinking of cracking somewhere north of 700. I even got mocks of around north of 700.
Around 720 he was getting mocks.
Yeah, but then I messed up.
Seriously, main में कितना आया फिर? Because I tell you,
he had 2 attempts in GMAT. Go on.
So my first attempt, I couldn't sleep the entire night. Okay. I was awake up till 6 in the morning, and my exam starts at 8. I never drink coffee in mornings or any time of the day. Okay. I took 2 shots of espressos before my exam, and I messed it up. I got a 6:30. I was not very happy. Although my verbal is very strong.
Your first attempt there?
This is the first attempt. Okay. I got 6:30. My second attempt was on a day when I wanted to go to. I had my flight bookings done for a trip to Vietnam with my friends. My flight, departs at 12 in the night. Okay. And my exam is at 2 in the afternoon. I sit for the exam. I was hoping to get again around 700s because 2 days before the exam I attempted for a mock and I scored 710. But I attempted for, there were no slots available for physical exam in my second attempt, so I opted for a exam for the home at my home place itself. So what happened is, see, this is my laptop, this is the whiteboard that I'm using. Okay. Correct. What happens when you are attempting for your quant questions, although my quant, I'm not very strong at quants either. So I was attempting these questions, and I'm deviating a bit from the webcam. So the proctor, he keeps on calling me out, and you have to get back to the camera, and in that process I messed it up. Another thing, there's a break of 8 minutes between your quant and your verbal. I attempted from a verbal at first. There's an 8-minute break. I was resting, I was meditating, and there were 2 minutes left as I remember. My proctor came in, he told me that show me your room again. I was connected to the webcam, the Ethernet cable,
Okay.
and I tried to show him my room, and I got disconnected. When I came back, the exam had already started. It was almost 1.5 minutes that was gone by. I told the proctor that, he said, I'll pause your exam, you just show me your room again. I said, okay, I'll show you your room again. So he said me, I'll start your exam from the very beginning.
Okay.
Very beginning itself, and you have your time back. I said, okay, no issues with me. So I resumed my exam. My exam started with short of 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. I said him, what's this? He told me that I'm working it out. These minutes will be added back to your exam. And GMAT is such a pressure intensive exam that even if such things happen, and I dearly remember I messed up the beginning 3 questions, and from then on it doesn't matter how well you perform.
Second?
600.
Then you're like, okay, now I'm not taking it anymore.
Then I was very. I talked to Dhruv before boarding for my flight. I was pretty depressed. Like, what should we be doing? I was even ready to cancel my trip.
Oh.
But then Dhruv assured me that doesn't matter. You have a good profile. You have a good score. Let's see. Achha, also one thing. When I got a 630 in my first attempt, I cancelled the score. I did not even accept it. Because I knew that this is not what I can achieve. I knew I can achieve somewhere, if not 700, I can still get 690, right? 630 was never in the area where I planned for my GMAT scores. So I rejected it. I did not even think about it, I just rejected it then and there. And then I reinitiated my 630 GMAT score, and I went to Vietnam. I enjoyed it. I
enjoyed that?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I even had an accident.
Wow, too much.
It was just way too much enjoyment. I loved it there. I came back and started the entire process in the month of December. And yeah, now I'm a Duke headmate. That's what it is.
Perfect. Okay.
A
lot to process.
My motivation went from here to here.
And then
again.
A bit higher.
That's great. So बीच में CFA की भी बात करी थी.
Yeah.
What is the status of that?
So I started preparing for CFA so this plan only comes because I failed my second attempt at GMAT.
Acha.
So I said that no matter what, I have to crack CFA in next 3 or 4 months. I started there, I was preparing for it diligently, I was giving 6 to 7 hours a day. And now comes the moment when I have the admit from Duke, and I contacted a lot of students there, a lot of faculty there, because CFA exam is in the last week of August, and that is also when the Duke's first term end semester exams will be. So all of the cohort, all of the current students, the past out students, the professors, the faculty, the career strategists at Duke, they all recommended me to not go for CFA, to put it at pause, because it's not really advisable and it's not really doable either to do both CFA and your first term exams parallelly. And considering that I'm coming from a non-tech background and non-economics background, the first term is all about data analytics. So I'll have to be very diligent and very motivated, and to be grasping all those topics, and because that's the first term is the foundation for the entire 10 months program. So if I falter there, the entire 10 months will go out of So then I had to take another decision that probably it's the best way forward to pause the CFA preparation as of now. Doesn't matter if you I am a firm believer that knowledge doesn't go waste.
Absolutely.
Right? I also paid for UPSC. It's still helping me out. I never got to become an IS officer. But that information, that knowledge, the entire, that exam opens your horizons. You are able to think much wider. And it helped me immensely in my equity research analyst, in my job profile as equity research analyst, where I can find the topmost area where I have to start. Because what's difficult is to know the peak from where you have to start and then drop down. Right? If you miss out 2 or 3 ladders above, then you are probably missing out on 20-30% of your analysis. So it helps. Anything that you're learning, anything that you're doing in your life, it all helps.
Absolutely.
In here, I like to quote. I think I'm speaking a lot, but
Please.
Happy realizations, really.
but I would like to quote the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs. He said once that going forward, you will never be able to connect the dots. But once you are standing somewhere and you start looking backwards, you're able to connect each and every dot. Why something happened, why something did not happen, why you were pushed out, why you couldn't crack that particular exam, why you got in that particular university and not this particular university. If you know, Steve Jobs was made to resign from Apple,
Yes.
and that is why he created Pixar, and that is why we all saw Toy Story. Had it not been a case where Steve Jobs was made to resign from Apple, animated movies probably would not have been a reality. Then he came back to Apple. So everything has a reason.
True.
Steve Jobs, he was studying, and then one fine day he decided that I do not want to study engineering. He started roaming around the campus and he saw this poster about calligraphy class. He went there, he learned calligraphy. And then he started designing his first computer. That is when he used that calligraphy knowledge to design the keyboard as we look today. Because Windows copied Apple. So
In the end, it makes sense. Eventually.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Somewhere you have to trust your gut, either yourself. You have to trust somewhere or the other. You have to trust your destiny. That's the only way forward. You have to trust something.
You have to trust the path yourself. Yeah. Okay, great. So Dhruv, abhi we are speaking about different aptitude exams, right? So now, according to you, how important are these exams, like specifically CFA, FRM, or CA levels as well, to getting for masters in finance specifically?
Okay. See, it simply depends कि आप कितना relate कर पा रहे हो, ठीक है? Not like if you do not have any prior expertise but you want to go for CFA levels, you might be able to attain like CFA level 3. But at the end, if you're not able to utilize it, उसका कोई point नहीं होगा, right? I have seen multiple such cases, people having CFA level 3, sitting idle, working for like some XYZ company over here. Now they don't know कि उसका utilization करना कैसे आगे life में, right? So basically, until it is like making some like differentiator for you, so there's no point doing it. That too, if you really mean to do it or not. It's not like कि आपके साथ कुछ अच्छा हो जाएगा, you're earning like around 15-16 lakh per annum CFA clear करने but 25-30 per जाएगा, there's no point, right? It's simply bullshit, I would say, right? You just need to make sure कि आपका end goal क्या है, ठीक है?
Okay.
Be it you want to be the financial analyst in like Big Four, if you want to start your journey into risk management or wealth management, if you can relate yourself into the domain of PE or ventures or something, right? Totally understandable कि आपको करना क्या है. Then accordingly you have to put the pieces at the right part. I mean the right frame, I would say, right? Now in Shri's case, if I have to tell you, ठीक है, talking about CFA, he clearly mentioned कि उसको pause पे रखेंगे, but उसको हमने delay किया. It's not like हमने उसको हटा दिया from the entire journey, right?
Yep.
Because there's always a right time to do something. Moreover, considering the fact that he's going to Duke, right, that too with the rigor curriculum that only lasts for like 10 months, he would not be able to cope up with multiple things at the same time in the plate, right? So talking about CFA, eventually, once he graduates, he will be able to crack it. And once he graduates, I guess CFA एक added advantage होगा उसके लिए, absolutely. Because अभी तक the work experience that Shri holds is into the domain of finance itself, but not majorly into the depth, right? Now talking about the course, Duke will give him a push. Not eventually Duke उसको कुछ stand out करके एक अलग position पे रख देगा, but Duke will be able to give him a push. Absolutely, at the end when he'll start preparing for CFA, he's gonna crack CFA. Then CFA will help like a added factor to his profile, right? To look for opportunities into the domain of like wealth management, could be financial analyst, could be a role of fintech or something, right? Because Duke maybe tech portion is there in his curriculum. So I guess talking about specific profiles, it is like very subjective. But अगर एक raw profile लेकर भी बात करें, if you do feel कि आपको finance domain में ही आगे move करना है, then I guess you can add these certifications. Eventually आपकी learnings ही आ रही हैं उससे, कुछ disadvantage हो नहीं रहा है. So learnings are there absolutely, and once you feel कि इस चीज से if I can get something out of it, then absolutely there's no harm going for CFA levels as well. You're learning something out of it. That is the best part for you.
Perfect, yeah. ठीक है, तो Shri Hari, for you specifically बाहर जाना क्यों है हमें?
Such a tough question. These questions my entire family.
Aisa, Ashwita.
It's not about the money, to be very honest. It's about the hunger.
True.
I remember back in 9th standard when I started watching Suits.
You started in 9th standard?
Yes. So I came around the entire Harvard and Ivy League thing.
Okay.
So it's been my dream to study in one of these schools. Although I did not got into Ivy, but Duke is no less than an Ivy, I would say.
Just the growing next to Ivy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ivy League is it's a kind of a league, right? It's not something which is customizable that universities come in and out of it.
Yep.
It's a fixed list of schools which were at some point in time they were good in sports, not good in academics. So Duke is no less than Ivy,
Yep.
and I think God helped me to get there.
Absolutely.
Or I would say Dhruv bhai helped me to get there.
No.
Or Ashmita Di helped me to prepare interviews. So everybody works in synergies, and I think energies do play a role in here. Starting my journey, I was not very confident to crack Duke with a 630 GMAT. Although it was my plan when I started preparing for my GMAT, because I was thinking to crack somewhere north of 700, but getting a 630, I was not very confident. But it all happened because it was meant to be, I think so.
मतलब तो स्कूल से ही था that you want to go abroad.
Yes, वो
and
Harvard,
everybody in
वो
the
Ivy
family.
League वाली चीज हो जाती है, right?
हाँ.
Then eventually I got into a financial domain. I started trading in stock markets in my second year of undergrad when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I must say you must exposed to literally good things in life, best things in life, even in your childhood.
I keep saying this very often that I was fortunately born poor. I was fortunately born in a small town. I fortunately gained all these experiences. So that's how I'd like to quote it.
Okay. घर वाले अभी कैसे react कर रहे हैं? Like you
Everyone's happy.
but you would be alone, not alone exactly, but yes, from your family alone in US.
Yeah, but man,
They
I
are
have two
actually
elder.
like-
No, I would put in such a way that I have two elder brothers. One is 11 years older to me, the one who's the oldest one. The other one is almost 7 years older to me.
Okay.
So, coming from a small town, both of them they moved after the 10th standard itself to study in different big cities, right? So my family is quite habitual with this kind of a setup.
Achha.
And then my brother, he decided all of a sudden that he wants to become a Canadian citizen permanent resident. Not a citizen, but a Canadian permanent resident. And he moved out. So my family has this kind of a thing wherein we are open to changes. We embrace changes rather. We find that this is the way that brings betterment to your life, and it keeps you, quite dynamic in your entire persona. So it's a better way forward. So yeah, my family is pretty excited as for the first time someone from my family is also going to US because it's a dream. No matter how much we
Yes.
because this the scenario in these times is that people from US they're coming back, right?
Yes.
But I feel there's a cyclicity to everything. There was an era back in 2000, the early 2000s, when people started going to US.
Yes.
There was an era there. There was a bubble that started. If I like to say so. So that cycle is coming to a close. Those people they're coming back, and also because the IT industry in US is about a bit fragile at this point in time, and the Indian IT industry is growing. So most of the Indian diaspora in US they belong to the IT sector itself. So they feel that at this point in time it's better for them to come back to their home country and pursue some careers here. And also another factor I would like to quote in here is that we Indians, we love our culture.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And at this point in time, the people who are almost 20 years old when at the early 2000s when they migrated to US, now they have kids who are in the 5th or 6th standard. And these parents, they are not very confident with the US the entire study culture that we have in the US. So what they are thinking and what their mindset is that it's better to come back to India for a decade or so.
Okay.
And so that they can expose their children to the Indian cultures and the Indian education system, because it is good no matter how much we discourage it. The Indian education system is good.
See, basically, it simply prepares you for the worst. I mean, the sort of things we study over
Indian
here.
education system.
Absolutely. I mean,
You're
जितना
exposed
effort यहाँ पर आपको डालना पड़ेगा पढ़ने के लिए बाहर नहीं डालना पड़ेगा.
Had
It's
it
all about the
been,
experience.
had it been not good, ना सुंदर पिचाई और सत्य नडेला नहीं होते
नहीं,
Microsoft के
See,
syllabus.
nobody says that it's bad, but
Yeah, it's competitive, and in life, I feel you should be competitive from first day itself.
Absolutely.
Because at any point in time, the world is competitive. The world is not a very homely place that we all wish it to be. It's never gonna be like that. It's gonna be hostile, and you'll have to fight your way.
okay. But my opinion, because I differ a bit in the opinion
Yeah.
right now here. कि ठीक है, do you think that getting an admit on the basis of caste in India is a good way to even move ahead?
I think there's a pros and cons here. When
What are
this
the
system
pros?
was brought in, coming from UPSC background, I have this. I can debate with you on this topic for about an hour.
I just want to know your perspective.
But I
that's
can,
it.
if I will be brief on this, when this system was brought in, it was brought in for a brief period of time, correct? But then it is now taken on more like a political agenda and
It's being used
initiative.
right now,
It is misused. A lot of people I know from general category who prepare such fake documents and they get admits in Delhi University itself.
Fake documents of caste.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen such people. So it happens. It is getting misused, although it's not very bad, because even if you because sitting in a city like Delhi, right, we do not get to relive the experiences of the people who come from such backgrounds. So if you go delve deeper to areas in Bihar, in Chhattisgarh, in the other backward regions of Assam and all, in the northeastern areas, you'll still find a lot of families where there's a lot of caliber, but people are not able to move out of their villages,
Yes.
right? So I feel these initiatives, they were good, but they're now getting misused. These initiatives, if used properly, India can be a very good place to study,
Yeah.
and can offer a lot of good opportunities. Just to quote in here as well, I was watching this particular podcast by Nikhil Kamath itself, wherein the founder of OYO, Ritesh Agarwal,
Yes,
he came in,
seen that.
and he has started this particular fellowship, which is only for Northeast students, right? So if people like Ritesh Agarwal, who do not just take a decision out of a dream, right? They sit, they analyze, they have a particular team who look at the opportunities to what's the best fellowship to start with. And if they are also getting into fellowships for backward regions like Northeast, then there's a lot of caliber there that is still yet to be extracted. And to coming back to question, it is good, to be honest, getting education on the basis of caste, because they do not have a lot of resources that we as individuals we get exposed to. Resources are not just in terms of money, resources also in terms of mindset, right? Because if you're coming from a good education background but you're not very rich, considering my case when I was much younger, I'm still young, so I was much younger. So back then, it's if you have the mindset to grow and study, then you will eventually get there. But if you do not have that mindset, that resourceful mindset that education can get you somewhere that nothing can in the world, then God helps you. That's what it is.
But yes, basically it's not also reaching the right audience then, right? Or the right people.
It should, but it is not.
It is not.
See,
Exactly.
every policy, every service has their own pros and cons.
Yes.
Not every service can be 100%, for
Fruitful
out of.
or yes.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
Okay, and
India
you
is such a big country. It's hard to cover.
yes. Agreed. So you are a product of Indian education system, proudly.
Yep.
Yes. So you completed your undergrad from Delhi University.
Correct.
So tell us more about your undergrad.
Yeah, it was a fabulous experience, coming from a small town, I thought I would not be able to mix it up and gel up and be able to make my place and name in such a big city like Delhi. But then it was all went great. I was able to make a name for myself. I started the first ever photography group in a road track club. I formed my own team in my first month of college itself. Right. Then I went on to act as an executive member, then a vice president, then a photography head, then a vice president of the photography society. Not just this, while I was pursuing my undergrad, the curriculum at Delhi University, which is misused, I would say, in some
Misuse.
yeah, because it is designed in a way that it's liberal.
Okay.
It allows you to do things apart from education. If you think about it, if you look at it, it is eventually designed that way. And I leveraged out of it. I worked at an advertising firm in my second year, and I handled a project of Shri Kashi Vishwanath Temple Trust, wherein I would plan their media. I would talk to PVRs, Inox, and a lot of small cinema chains as well. I would ask for their quotations for running the advertisement that you see right in the cinemas. Then I would also ask for quotations for the outdoor campaigns that we could launch on the behalf of the Temple Trust. I was also exposed to a lot of brands that we are pretty used to, like Biryani by Kilo as well. I've worked with them as well through this media consulting firm itself. So it is a good education system. It exposes to a lot of things. But in India, we have this culture that when you are studying, you should only be studying. You should not be working. But I feel if you find some area or some place or something that you have an interest in and you work there, parallelly you study, because studies are not very rigorous at the University of Delhi, right? And my program, BCom program is not very rigorous either. It's an easy program. You can just, people eventually study for like a month before the exams, right? That's all they study. So it is a good program. You can make a lot out of it, to be very honest.
Perfect.
And life puts you in different places. I never thought that I would go there and work as a media consultant, but life literally it picked me up and put me there.
It's making sense at the end.
Yeah. Oh, it all makes sense.
Yes. ठीक है, तो finance, media consultant, photography, वापस finance. I think right now your course is in business analytics, right? Management, business analytics. How did the entire journey go? कि मतलब photography क्यों नहीं mainly choose किया? How were you sure कि मुझे finance में जाना है?
Photography is my way to lighten me up.
Right.
When I hold the camera, I just forget about everything that I have.
So why not live
Have
for
you
what
seen
you
this?
love?
Huh?
Why not live for what you love if you're loving that?
I do not want to make it a medium for earning money, because once you start earning money from something, you stop loving it, to be very honest. You stop working towards your money and stop working towards your love. You start working towards your money, to be very honest, stop working towards your love. So it's better to keep your love aside, keep your career aspirations aside. And photography was never to me as a career aspiration. Career aspiration always lied towards the business domain itself. When I was 16 or 17, my +1, my mother started a new business. Small business, a small grocery shop. And I remember I would attend school in the morning, and I would go to tuitions in the afternoon. Then in the evening I would go to different distributors to fetch the supplies that are needed for the shop to sell out. Then I would come back in the evening and study for a bit, not a lot. I'm not quoting to be like Narayan Murthy says to be like, but yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah, I love hustling, but coming to Delhi University, I stopped hustling like I used to in +1 and +2, because when lack of money teaches you and pushes you for a lot of things.
True. ठीक है ध्रुव, तो हमने फोटोग्राफी एस्पेक्ट कहीं पे भी एंटायर एप्लीकेशन में did we use it?
Absolutely. I simply remember a discussion that we had कि भाई CV कौन सा वाला डाला है, उसमें प्रेसिडेंट दिखा है, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट दिखा है, पहले चेक करो दोबारा. And I said नहीं यार, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट दिखा है, आपको वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ही दिखाएंगे, not telling university something which is not there. So it was there in the CV, it was there in the application, the SOP.
It had a huge impact.
Absolutely, I mean it's absolutely
25 points at that
right, because it's all about how holistically you're showcasing your profile, right? And Duke is all about उसकी यूनिवर्सिटी की वेबसाइट पे लिखा है कि we need to understand your perspective. आप आए क्यों हो, क्यों आपको ड्यूक में पढ़ना है, right? So right after KPMG, when Shri started working for this EZI company, right? So he was there working as an audit associate as well. Then I mentioned कि एक साल हम same काम कर चुके हैं, right? Now you're working in the same role, you have enough expertise in the same thing. So why let's try applying for like an internal job posting. Let's try कि hierarchy में थोड़ा ऊपर जा सकते हैं. Let's switch the domains, right? Simply हमें as like we understand कि हमारा end goal क्या है. We were able to understand that we want to see ourselves sitting at a good university out there, building our career into the domain of wealth management and financial analysis, in the domain of finance majorly, right? So we applied for that, we cracked it. Then he started working as like a finance and budget associate, right? A finance and budget analyst, I would say, right?
Okay.
And वो hierarchy भी दिखाया हमने. So there were like multiple things that we showcased in the CV and the drafts that we used. So it was not about just the photography, but that was his passion. He still has the passion. He's still be holding the passion throughout his life, I would say, right? But a lot of things that he had in the profile, we justified all the documents mentioning the same things, and now we nailed the university. So I guess that was the best part.
Nice. So ये extracurriculars कितना important है in any application, not just Shri Hari's, but generally for a student?
See, generally it highlights कि apart from your academics and work experience, what sort of background you hold. It's all about, I mean, simply for example, if you showcase to the university कि हमने 10वीं पढ़ी, हमने 12वीं पढ़ी, then simply we did our undergraduate, we started working. तो आपकी लाइफ में हुआ ही क्या है इसका?
ट्रांजैक्शनल हो गया बहुत.
हाँ, so it's more about कि आपके पास add-ons क्या है अपने पास, right? What is your passion? What is, I mean, that interest that helps you live out of those sad moments that you have in your life. So basically काफी चीजें मिलकर एक अच्छा प्रोफाइल बनता है.
Yes.
So if you have a passion for photography, you play football, you've participated in multiple events, you have worked for different organizations apart from your own company, you have even worked in an NGO or something as a volunteer that Shri had worked for, right? So there are multiple things that makes an ideal candidate. Your profile is something which university will eventually going to focus on. So you have to make sure कि आप उसमें ऐसी चीजें दिखा रहे हो which will give a sort of holistic sense to the university to review your application. Yeah.
अच्छा, और KPMG का कितना importance था in this?
KPMG is a brand name?
Yes, as a brand name.
ठीक है. See, I mean, now Shri is here, he would agree to that point कि अगर KPMG भी नहीं होता, but simply वो same domain में काम कर रहा होता, with the same zeal, same sort of roles and responsibilities, तब भी Duke में apply कर रहे होते हैं. So KPMG.
तो brand name का बहुत ज़्यादा importance नहीं है.
I would say importance, I mean again the subjective, I mean a topic जिसके बारे में discussion ongoing चलेगा, but हाँ, talking about the brand name, it adds something to your profile because they are something which is recognized in like all over entire world, right? So basically they would understand कि आपने एक ऐसे firm के लिए काम किया है जिनका international market में बहुत ज़्यादा hold है. Now they can judge your profile on the basis of कि KPMG में इस position पे काम कर रहा होगा, so you might be doing something which is impactful, right? Now talking about working in the same field or domain for any XYZ company which does not hold that brand value, I would say university को difficult तो कुछ लगेगा नहीं to review the profile, but हाँ अगर brand name होता तो उनको judge करने में थोड़ा easy होता है. I guess that is the only thing that we can tell.
Correct. It's easier to generalize them.
Absolutely.
ठीक है, ऑलराइट. तो अभी हम वर्क एक्सपीरियंस की बात कर रहे हैं. इफ एट ऑल लेट्स सपोज हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन, अगर श्री के पास कोई वर्क एक्स होता ही नहीं, यू वर अ फ्रेशर स्टूडेंट विदाउट एनी वर्क एक्स, हाउ वुड हैव इम्पैक्टेड द चांसेस ऑफ एन एडमिट?
ओके, सी फर्स्ट थिंग आई गेस ड्यूक में फिर अप्लाई तब भी कर ही रहे होते अगर श्री को कॉन्फिडेंस होता स्टार्टिंग में. तो बिकॉज सी टॉकिंग अबाउट ड्यूक पर्टिकुलरली, दिस इज द प्रोग्राम व्हिच इज लाइक मेड फॉर पीपल हु हैव लेस देन 3 years of work experience, right? So here comes the part जहाँ पर research work बहुत ज़्यादा strong चाहिए. It's not like कि आप कोई भी university apply कर सकते हो just for the sake of doing it because you have a passion for finance. You want to see yourself sitting in a good ideal position 5 to 7 years down the line. उससे कुछ फर्क पड़ेगा नहीं, to be very honest, right? So first thing research. Talking about अगर work experience होता भी नहीं, then I guess कुछ schools जो shortlist में थे रहते कुछ हट जाते eventually. But research हमें उसके according करना पड़ता. Right. Considering the fact कि 6 universities के नाम थे, that too we removed one of the universities which is Boston Met, right? Because Shri was still feeling कि यार नहीं करते अपने Boston Met में, because we do have other universities which are good in the ranking, good in the prestige and something, right? So talking about Duke particularly, हाँ, we opted for the right university, I would say. In terms of work experience नहीं भी होता तब भी we would have applied for the university, right? बट वर्क एक्सपीरियंस हटाने के बाद इट्स मोर अबाउट कि आप क्या और चीज़ें दिखा पा रहे हो, बिकॉज वर्क एक्सपीरियंस इज द क्लियर बेसिस in which the university can review your application. That gives like a sort of sense to the university that you have the practical implementation of things there in the profile, right? Work experience आपके पास नहीं है, then eventually you have to showcase other things to compensate for it. Could be the internship, could be the CFA or FRA levels that you might have in your profile. Then comes the sort of degree that you hold. It's not like BTech you can simply go for any finance course, right? It's very difficult. But since you have, if you holding a degree in BCom or something related to finance majorly, then having a good GPA as well can compensate for other things, majorly work experience. So more like if work experience is not there, you should be showcasing or highlighting the things, I would say, that can evenly compensate for that.
A substitute basically.
Absolutely.
ठीक है, तो कमिंग टू द शॉर्टलिस्ट, टोटली कितने यूनिवर्सिटीज अप्लाई करे थे?
6 यूनिवर्सिटीज.
6 में से जिसमें से 5 आ गया. ठीक है, ऑल राइट. एंड वी आर वेटिंग फॉर नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न राइट नाउ, राइट? रेस्ट ऑफ द नेम्स यू ऑलरेडी टुक. ठीक है, तो आई वांट टू रियली अंडरस्टैंड हियर व्हाट वाज द प्रोसेस ऑफ शॉर्टलिस्टिंग, क्योंकि ध्रुव आपने तो बहुत ऑप्शंस प्रेजेंट करे होंगे ऑब्वियसली इन द स्टार्टिंग, बट श्री फॉर यू हाउ डिड यू सेलेक्ट कि मुझे यही करना है या यहाँ नहीं जाना? व्हाट वाज योर थॉट प्रोसेस?
Let's give a very short answer.
Okay.
GMAT 630.
Okay.
I literally remember we had the shortlisted universities. I went to each and every website. I checked the class profile.
Okay.
If my GMAT was falling in the class profile.
कितने यूनिवर्सिटीज थे अगेन 8 इनिशियल लिस्ट में?
9, 10.
हाँ, it was like around 10-15 universities. That too with a good.
Initially it was 10-15. Yeah.
And with a good like combination of multiple.
तो
like
10-15 के अलग-अलग जाके करिकुलम चेक किया?
नहीं, उसके बाद भी हमने ऑलरेडी शॉर्टलिस्ट कर दिए हुए थे. अब टिल 10 तो मैं आ गया हुआ था.
हाँ, कैसे?
वो वाला. Initially because these
ranking.
At first I was like just top university में जाना है. I'm gonna crack it 700 plus in GMAT. Only top universities, so top universities were shortlisted. This list was so short, like 4 or 5 universities were there. But then I faltered at GMAT, right? Then I went to only 10 to 12 not more than 10 websites, I think.
ठीक है.
I went to their websites, checked the class profile. If my GMAT was into the range, I said, okay, let's apply there. Let's apply here. At the end of that process, I had around 7 universities, right? And BU Med was the 7th one.
जो हटा दिया.
That we discarded.
ओके, ठीक है. तो इसमें सेफ ड्रीम एवरेज का रेशियो क्या था? 2:2 किया था हमने.
See, to be very honest, same dream average. I mean, I still remember the call I had with श्री की इसमें से 4 तो वैसे ही आ रहे हैं यार तुम्हारे. आ जाएंगे, दिक्कत मत होगी. लाइक आप श्योर हो आ जाएंगे? ऐसे अरे आ जाएंगे, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. I mean, it's like a very interesting story, but I'll tell you someday, some other day I would say. But abhi ke liye, the application was very simple. Right? We knew that Duke we were applying, but Duke maybe there were like multiple things, multiple discussions that were going on. Because Duke में we checked कि यार ये course समझ नहीं आ रहा, because he was not very sure about going for this course, right? Duke list में था, but course के लिए हम ready थे ही नहीं कभी.
हाँ, I have seen this. बाकी सारे universities में masters in finance है, इसमें ही सिर्फ अलग.
Right, and this is the unique course I would say that Duke offers. तो हुआ क्या ना, Shri was going through the university. यार university तो अच्छी है, course समझ में नहीं आ रहा मेरे को.
Okay.
तो क्या किया जाए? कोर्स देख के जाया जाए, यूनिवर्सिटी देख कर जाया जाए? आई वुड से कि करना क्या ये बताओ यार. ध्रुव भाई हुआ क्या ना, ड्यूक से अपने को एप्लीकेशन फी आ रखा है. तो एप्लीकेशन करे ना करे, मैंने कहा यार देखो आपको करना क्या है. आपके मेरे को ऑब्जेक्टिव दोबारा भी वेंट ऑन स्टार्ट डूइंग द सेम कन्वर्सेशन कि ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या है, राइट? वी नीड गुड आरओआई, वी नीड एक्सपोजर. ठीक है, हमारा एंड गोल कहाँ से फुलफिल हो सकता है? वी डिस्कस विद मल्टीपल यूनिवर्सिटीज. वी हैड रॉचेस्टर, राइट? वी हैड फॉरडम, वी हैड UMCP, and we had Northeastern. I said we have pretty fine universities over here. So if you need one brand name or if you want to apply for one which is there in the IBs, right? तो वो अलग बात हो जाएगी. But बाकी जो आपका एंड गोल है वो तो यहाँ से मीट हो रहा है. That too, the fee is also very affordable in something, right? Scholarship आने के chances भी अच्छे हैं. So why Duke? He said कि चलो ठीक है Duke नहीं करते. then we removed Duke from the list.
Oh, okay.
Duke
Yes, we
was
did.
out.
Yes, we did.
So then we had like 6 teams with us, and Duke was not there in the list, right?
तो कौन से 6 names थे?
So we were finalizing universities, and we had UMCP, right? We had Rochester, Northeastern was there, we had Sunny Buffalo,
Okay.
and then we had Fordham, the GRE school of business. So ये 5 schools हमारे पास थे, right? That too, Duke list में था नहीं, but eventually Boston Met was also there, right? And Duke का role कुछ था नहीं conversation में, but then one day right before the deadline of Duke University, and we were having a discussion on the SCPs of Rochester, right?
Okay.
And it was like around 9ish, 10 in the night or something, right?
Yeah.
Around in the evening, 10 in the evening. So
Correct.
because we had a deadline to chase, right? So I was saying, ठीक है, office timings के अलावा let's connect afterwards, right? Let's discuss what are the pointers over there. I'll work on it. उसके अलावा कुछ brainstorm करते हैं, कुछ ideas लेकर आते हैं, right? रात को 12 बजे श्री को पता नहीं क्या हुआ. श्री सेड भाई ड्यूक अप्लाई कर देते हैं ना. बॉस्टन मेट हटानी है, हटा देते हैं.
Boston Met I read on Reddit कि वो evening college ज़्यादा है. तेरा मतलब like यार छोड़ो ना. आ तो रहा बाकी से तो आ जाएगी कहीं ना कहीं से Boston में
I mean,
छोड़ो.
there's no such big difference, I would say, because Boston Carroll is over there,
Yeah.
Customer is over there, and Met is over there. तीनों colleges आसपास ही हैं. Right? Talking about the Duke University, prestige चाहिए था मैं profile के अंदर. Then even in my parallel mind, I was thinking कि ठीक है यार एक brand name तो apply करना ही चाहिए ना. I mean, it's not like कि आग बंद करके श्री ने बोला होगा मुझे और मैंने आग बंद करके उसको believe कर लिया होगा.
नहीं, ये तो
It's more like,
research.
हाँ, I mean, he's the guy who will put 110% of his effort doing the research.
Yes.
Connected with multiple people.
हाँ.
जो information यूनिवर्सिटी की वेबसाइट पर नहीं है, निकाल कर लेकर आएगा कहीं से. भाई मैंने ये ढूंढा है. कहाँ से ढूंढा? LinkedIn पे कोई मिला था, उसने बताया. So talking about Duke, रात को we discuss किया Duke अप्लाई करते हैं. मैंने कहा ठीक है Duke अप्लाई करते हैं. ठीक है. रात को 12 बज रहे हैं. सुबह हमारा डेडलाइन है Duke का. And then we started brainstorming the pointers. मैंने कहा एक काम करो, Duke के SOP में जो चीजें मेंशन करनी है लिखते जाओ. ठीक है.
ये रात के 12 बजे हो रहा है.
हाँ, I mean, we were just rephrasing the things that we like created for Duke, right? So मैंने कहा Duke का मतलब confidence आ नहीं रहा था हम दोनों को SOP पे. So what we discussed is कि ठीक है, you start working on the pointers, you do your research, आप pointers लिखो, फिर मैं पढ़ता हूँ, मैं कर दूँगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो लिख कर दे दूँगा, right? And now Duke has this very fascinating question. You have to put like frequent pointers about yourself, right?
25 points.
हाँ, 25 points. Random pointers,
things.
random fact about yourself. And रात को 12 बजे, I mean 1:30 बज रहे हैं और मैं श्री से पूछ रहा हूँ हाँ कि मतलब
पेट्रोल की
point
स्मेल
अपने बारे में बताओ कुछ. Tell me something about yourself जो आपको दिखाना है but random होना चाहिए. कह रहा यार मेरे को क्या बताऊँ, रैंडमली घूमने निकल जाता हूँ, वियतनाम चला गया था बीच में, अभी पता ही आपको, उसके अलावा क्या ही लिख सकता हूँ, फूडी हूँ, खा लेता हूँ, ये सब नहीं, थोड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग बताओ, इंटरेस्टिंग लेकर आना है, गिव यू पॉइंटर्स. देन श्री ने काफ़ी चीज़ें मेंशन करी, राइट. आई मीन इफ यू गो थ्रू द एसओपी यू फिगर आउट कि हमने कैसे चीज़ को प्रेजेंट करा है, राइट. एंड रात को मतलब 3 बजे हमारा डिस्कशन चल रहा है. एंड इन द मीन टाइम द मेन एसे दैट ड्यूक इज लाइक द क्वेश्चन दैट ड्यूक आस्क्स, उसके रिगार्डिंग मैंने रिसीव द पॉइंटर्स, आई स्टार्टेड ड्राफ्टिंग समथिंग, आई जॉटेड डाउन थिंग्स एंड आई स्टार्टेड ड्राफ्टिंग समथिंग आउट ऑफ द पॉइंटर्स. I went to the website entirely, right. तो उसके अलावा I went to the class profile again. I checked over like Quora as well. बहुत external sites भी use करी. Then I gave him a draft. I said एक बार read करके बताओ. Then
बस फिर क्या इतना अच्छा ड्राफ्ट था. I almost called ध्रुव भाई उसी वक्त. मैंने कहा ध्रुव भाई how did you even write us? मैंने कहा your editorial team was not able to write a simple essay for Rochester, but this is something different.
Editorial for Rochester मतलब there were a few issues with SOP.
हाँ, there were multiple re-edits and we were not able to get into a proper conclusion for it because हर बार जो idea हम put कर रहे हैं, we were getting the draft, but तब भी हमें कहीं लग रहा था कि यार
something is
satisfaction नहीं है वो.
And that too, I mean, I should appreciate the zeal of the entire team because जितनी बार हमने reads दी हैं, उतनी बार उन्होंने हर बार modification करके हमको दिया है, right?
Correct.
So initially
even at odd times.
हाँ, at odd
10-11
times
बजे भी re-edit होके आया था.
But I still feel कि even though, I mean, we cannot put the application in terms of kitna effort put over it. It's more about कि आप satisfied हुए या नहीं, right?
True, yeah.
So, the moment I shared the SOP with Shri, he mentioned, भाई ये क्या लिख के दिया आपने? मैंने कहा क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं, बहुत सही है, बस 2 minor edit है इसके अंदर. मैंने कहा अरे, मैंने तो बस ऐसे ही लिख दिया. And he said कि नहीं, this is good to go. फिर ऐसे ओके ठीक है, I mean मेरे को ठीक लग रहा है एंड क्या पता मैं बहुत ज़्यादा बायस्ड हो रहा हूँ या आई नीड लाइक अ सेकंड रिव्यू. तो मैंने श्री को भेजा, ही सेड कि दिस इज गुड टू गो. ऐसे ठीक है, एज पर योर कंफर्मेशन चलते हैं. आई मीन ड्यूक इज नॉट अल्टीमेटली अ गोल फॉर अस अभी के लिए. गोल तो हमारा अच्छा आरओआई निकालना है, एंड गोल है हमारे पास काफी सारे, राइट. ड्यूक वाज जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ डूइंग इट कि ड्यूक ब्रांड नेम है, कोर्स देख लेंगे यार, ड्यूक आ गया तो कोर्स पसंद आने लग जाएगा बाद में.
Data analytics was always
And he do hold like the expertise in the same. He do understand the process, how the data analytics things works.
when I came to ace my prep, I came for data analyst position itself.
We have multiple shortlists for data analytics that do for Canada as well, US as well.
US and Canada as well.
Oh.
Yep. At first we shortlisted Trent University in Canada, but then I was not eligible to apply for data analyst positions because I do not come from a tech background,
Yes.
right? So then and Dubai figured it out that I'll have to eventually give my GMAT, and this conversation is from April last
Which
year.
was about like
April last year.
एक साल पहले
almost. मैं डेटा एनालिस्ट पोजीशंस के लिए ही इसमें पे आया था. उससे पहले I wanted to do masters in finance, but then I thought masters in finance AI is coming in, quant is coming in, and the traditional wealth management job profile is not gonna be a very lavish profile in years to come. It's gonna get converted into a quant-based wealth management program itself, and there will not be a lot of job opportunities. Then I thought that I should go for a data analyst position itself. Then things changed further. Then eventually you applied for finance domains, but it all comes back to the point, right? Destiny.
Yes.
absolutely.
Destiny.
All certificate.
Destiny.
Yes.
I was meant to go for data analyst positions.
So basically for us, I mean, this is the journey that we lived, to be very honest.
Yes.
I mean, starting say we had something in our mind, then I mean, I would say चीजें उस alignment में बैठी नहीं, right? He started looking for other things as well. Then right after a few months, he realized कि finance was the right thing for me. Then eventually GMAT score आने पे, but still we had multiple things to work upon. We compensate for a lot of things in the profile as well, right? Be it GMAT score, be it any other like sort of thing which is not there in the profile, we were lacking on, right? Then now sitting over here discussing about Duke, the university which had been removed from the university from the entire list that we discussed, right? Right, twice we removed the university, then eventually putting the application in the last moment, and that too with the sort of satisfaction that we had. I mean that was enough. I mean we had कि बहुत अच्छा application दिया है, admit नहीं आएगा कोई बात नहीं, बहुत satisfied होकर भी हाँ, we very satisfied with the application. We put the best application.
Submit कब किया application?
5th of January. About
नहीं रात को बैठ के edit कर रहे थे तो सुबह
सुबह ही submit the application just right before the deadline.
Okay, and how did you finalize Duke finally? मतलब क्योंकि ये बाकी universities you've got brilliant scholarships. So to choose from that कि कहाँ I'm saving up on like good 40,000 USD good amount, and then Duke.
Coming to that, बनिया हूँ. So if you have seen that Excel sheet, उसके आगे I have calculated the tuition fee post scholarship, and the Duke was still in these lines with UMCP and Simon. So even after scholarship, it's still in line with those. So it's the question about scholarship went out of the picture then, right?
अच्छा.
So it all came to the merits. Where I have to go eventually, and also Duke gave me a risk track while I opted for the finance track because they are different tracks to the program.
Yes.
They gave me a risk track while I opted for the finance track, and I spent almost 3 or 4 days. I spent over 20 cold emails to current students and connected with over 30-40 alumni of the program.
ये cold emails के लिए email कहाँ से मिले?
Duke website.
अच्छा websites you
they have that. So I sent 20 cold emails and connected with 40-50 odd people, and also connected with the head of finance at Fuqua School of Business.
Yes.
and I drafted one particular template and just put that email out. And living the Team Fuqua spirit, people reached out to me, reached back to me, and they also they from start itself they initiated to have a Zoom call from themselves. And I was like, I'll be honored to. And I connected with two or three current Fuqua students over the Zoom call. And I have a Zoom call 2 days almost on next week, I think. I have another Zoom call on next week.
Regarding
the program.
See, he's still not satisfied. He's just making up to himself. I've like applied for
this hunger is good.
Hunger is always there.
Now my calls are diverted more towards what I should be preparing for.
Absolutely.
Coming into the program, I know this is gonna be a very rigorous program. I do not come from the background, so I also connected with one particular student who also comes from a similar background as mine.
Okay.
And she has guided me through a lot of steps that should be taken care of. Then I also connected one of the student who passed from a risk track and is now working at BNY Mellon as an analyst, financial analyst from a risk track and from a non-finance background as well. So he told me, he literally gave me pointers that I should be honoring while I'm at this school. So all of this has given me a very good picture of what's gonna come and how I should be preparing for it. And I would again say that unfortunately this track came in and not finance track.
Dots are connecting.
Reason being, had the finance track came in, I would not have researched in this depth.
Agreed.
About how the program is going to look like, what I should be working on, how should I be approaching it. Now that risk track came in, I did all the research. I have a way better clarity now. And as I stand today, I already completed my course in statistics and probability from Data Camp. I started with SQL yesterday, and my goal is to start with language R next week. So that's how it is going, and I think I'm preparing myself to able to challenge the cohort which is coming from those backgrounds. So let's see, fingers crossed.
That's great. So Dhruv, what was your perspective or what was your view when first Shri Hari's first case came to you?
So, talking about the case, I would say see, it's more about we had like multiple conversations and we had like multiple discussions on what sort of course would suit the best, right? What sort of universities we would be targeting. Talking about Canada, we do understand the geopolitical situations that are going on. Yes. Apart from that, the sort of expertise the country hold in terms of what his end goal is, what he wants to do in his career, right? So, for the sake of exploring things, that was fine, right? But eventually, when things started falling on place, we understand that we have to take this into consideration that this is not the right perfect place for us, right? Yes. But eventually, we have to work on things and we have to make sure that we are getting something tangible out of it, because ये चीज़ नहीं हो पाई कोई बात नहीं, we have other multiple things to work upon, right? We can look for other opportunities, to look for other universities, courses, right? So वो learning process तो हमेशा से था for him and for me as well, right? So we were learning together, and I do still recall कि कितनी universities मैंने बार go through किए just because he was sending me multiple things कि भाई ये check करो, इसलिए मुझे ये ऐसा लग रहा है. Then I was going to the website doing my own research again and again. So that also gave me that in-depth analysis of what sort of things university now requires, right? So it was more about we both were doing the research and talking about the recent events that we had, like talking about the multiple connects he built with different alumni, different profiles, right? He was sharing the emails with me, he was sending me screenshots कि ये सारी बातें हुई हैं मेरी from, like I had a discussion with multiple people, alumni over there, right, regarding the risk track. And it was only because I had the opportunity to tell him that Duke is a very good university, you should definitely go for it. Whereas wanted him to like make sure that he is getting something out of it. It was not like कि Duke में जा रहे हो, but the track is not something that suits best for you, so तब भी चले जाओ. So simply asked him to connect with people, right? Simply go over a coffee chat, simply talk to the person who is sitting over there who can give you the first hand information. ठीक है? So and again his zeal of getting that minute thing out of like that bulk. So he started working on it. He connected with multiple people. Now he do understand, he do know he additionally what sort of things he needs, right? What sort of additions he need to make sure he is adding onto the profile so that he can sit on that cohort and contribute his part into it. And apart from that, I do understand अगर हम लोग connect करते ही नहीं कभी, so अभी जो चीजें हम add on कर रहे हैं, we are trying to like add on certifications from data कि हम वो कर रही नहीं,
absolutely.
So it is more about the efforts you put in, the zeal that you have, and all about connecting the dots, I would say, in his case.
The journey has been commendable.
Absolutely, yeah.
वहाँ जाके भी journey का ही है, श्री हरि Duke's offer मिल गया, but the journey then वहाँ से it has
journey
to be
still
this.
rolls.
Absolutely. So Shri Hari, for you, when you came in here initially as a student, what was your biggest concern?
My biggest concern was the guidance, to be very honest. I did not know the right universities to apply to. I did not know the right country back then, because I joined you guys in 2023. Although I started preparing for my study abroad journey from 2021 itself, from my third year of undergrad.
Last year, yeah.
So
2021.
Last year of undergrad.
Yeah, last year of undergrad.
हाँ, तो 2021 to 2023 2 साल आपने सिर्फ खुद में ही बिताए.
Yes, because there were not a lot of universities in Canada which offers masters in finance. I think there are just 4 or 5 universities. If I name them, it's University of Toronto, then University of McGill, University of McMaster, and the Schulich School of Business, which comes under York University, right? So I think these are just 4. I think CUNY's University as well. So there's 4 or 5 options there. So at first, I have this habit of doing everything off my own. Always had this habit. You guys spoiled me.
Very evident.
You guys spoiled me for some reason. But so the thing with me was that I would apply to universities all by myself. I would not hire a consultant. I would write my essays on my own. I would do everything on my own. So up till 2023, that was my plan. I was preparing for GMAT. I was not able to allocate a lot of time for the GMAT preparations up till 2023, because KPMG being my first job obligation right after college, could not find a lot of time to study there. So 2023 I decided no matter what I have to crack the GMAT, and still I took a year. Right? So standing there, I came to you guys for guidance. We started with Canada, we started with data analyst. Then we changed from data analyst to Masters in Finance in Canada. Then again we changed from Masters of Finance from Canada to US. So,
and now here we are.
A lot of guidance, a lot of talks.
तो ये जो यूनिवर्सिटीज थे इनमें इंटरव्यू राउंड्स भी थे? All the universities?
No, 2.
Rochester was there, and then we had Duke.
Yeah. How was your preparation and how was your interview experience firstly?
Yeah, you can answer that way better than me. Because you have helped me a lot in preparing for the interviews. I remember when we started for University of Rochester, I think you were the first one I had the mock with. Then I went on to start giving mocks to Pragya. But the insights that you gave me out of my first mock were what helped me to build a persona that I kept forward up till my last interview at Duke. So if I sum that entire process that ASMR helped me during the mock interview preparation, I would like to quote this particular scenario wherein I think it was Sunday and I had my interview with Rochester on Monday, right? And Sunday is a weekly off in any organization. I emailed Pragya ma'am and she replied me in just half an hour. And also to coach, she was traveling that particular day.
Yes.
She connected while she was traveling. She helped me with the interview pointers. She helped me not with the pointers, but with the last doubts that I had. Just to say one doubt that I had, where should I be looking? Should I be looking in the camera or to the screen? Right? She had a big laugh there. But yes, what I feel like I look for details. Like for when I was going for the Duke interview, so Duke has this concept wherein they will tell you beforehand, like who's gonna be your interviewer.
Yes.
They just give you the name. So I searched that name on the LinkedIn. I found that he has served in the US military. He has also worked in Walmart. Right now, he's studying at Duke. He's an MBA student. He was wearing a green color shirt in his DP. I also went on to wear a green color shirt in my interview.
Did that anyway help in that?
Absolutely.
I believe.
Absolutely.
I believe senses is all that we have, right?
Yes.
Before communicating, before even hearing, we see. Right?
Yeah.
Rather, we smell. We also smell, right? But you cannot smell on a Zoom interview. So you see. And if you are seeing a color that you like, and also he worked in the military, right?
Oh.
So
okay.
He probably would have liked the green color there. Can't say much.
Good strategy. Okay, perfect. So interview Duke ka norm, like as other schools, it was a normal interview?
No, the interview at Rochester was quite normal, I would say. It was something that got over in like 20 minutes. The interviewer had to cut me short because, as you guys must have reasoned out up till now, I speak a lot. So he said that I have to jump to another interview, so I'll cut you short. It was a good interview. So he was an Indian. Yeah. So coming to the Duke interview, the interview lasted for almost more than an hour, I think.
More than an hour?
Yeah, almost a bit more than an hour.
Okay.
So it started, the interview was pretty nice. So he kept the interview so light the entire hour. He kept giving me feedbacks. At the very start, he said that I'm going to record your session because we have to fill this particular form post your interview. Rather, we can also fill the form while interviewing, but I want to give you a very wholesome and rich experience interviewing. Rather, I would just record the interview and fill out the form later.
You got a good interviewer.
You can say that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I was able to. He asked me a lot of behavioral questions. And coming from a background, I have a lot of different experiences in different areas and different industries. I was able to chalk out an answer, frame it a bit, and I was able to persuade him in a way or so. He asked me one particular question: which particular organization you think is most influential in your country?
Okay.
So I just went on and said that it's any organization that can be the most influential or can touch the unlimited number of people can only be a government organization. And for now, it's the Ministry of Home Affairs. It's the current government in power. And I listed different initiatives that the government has taken.
UPSC
came to play. So, because UPSC builds this habit of reading newspaper, I read newspapers. So, right from how this entire LPG scheme came in, people are not they are not burning the chulas anymore. It brings better living standards, right? The entire GDP that the growth that we are seeing in the country, the forex reserves that have climbed up to all time high period as of now. So I listed different factors to him, and to which he gave me a feedback.
What was
the feedback was that never ever in an interview talk about a government, talk about a political party. Coming to United States, you should never talk about anything related to this matter because it's much more diverse. It's better to if you have to particularly answer your question in this particular domain or area, when you have to highlight government, do not name them. Just list out their things that they are doing.
Okay.
It's still not recommended because it can give you a difference of bring in a difference of opinion with the interviewer. He said that I do not know much about India, so I cannot have a difference of opinion here. But had I been known, then I would be able to question or I would be able to disagree at a point or two. So it's not really recommended. So that was kind of an experience that I had with the Duke interview.
It was
an amazing interview, one of the best interviews I've had. And at the end of the interview, he clearly said that I'm going to endorse you. There's a 80% yield of interviews. Only best candidates come into the interview round. And once they come in, the only criteria that we are required to judge upon, he did not say it like this, but that's what I'm saying, is that we have to see if the person is living or not. So basically,
so you're not surviving, you're living.
No. Basically, they're saying if there's not a dummy candidate, or if the candidate is the one who has written the
He's
application.
alive.
Right. I mean, they just want the match.
genuine candidate.
Listen to match.
Yeah, they
what
want to
sort of
see
population
if the SOPs are right standing.
aligning with that
interview.
person or not. Right.
Acha, it's not something forged or fake or something just like created.
What is there in the application should be there. In the
They want to see
in the
if,
person as well.
yeah, if the SOPs are resonating with the person or not.
got
That's
it,
what.
got it. ठीक है, great. Offer आ गया, now things are done. Visa process पे आते हैं.
Yeah.
Start हो गया visa.
शुरू हो गया है. बहुत काम है.
बहुत काम है. I think you in the morning itself you went to arrange some financial documents, right?
Yeah.
हाँ, इसी से related था.
हाँ.
So how many अभी क्या-क्या documents है? What exactly are you arranging?
So as of now, I have submitted my initial deposit to Duke.
Okay.
I have got my loan approved.
Okay.
Right. I also got in touch with the Duke visa team.
Okay.
And what they are saying is that they do not honor the international loan agreements that you bring in for
Okay.
the visa applications.
Uh-huh.
So they are gonna give an international loan to me myself to me
Okay.
for the visa process. And it's my discretion if I want to continue with that loan or not.
अच्छा.
Post that, if I'm not not agreed with the terms of their loan agreement, then I can surely use the loan arrangements that we have in our country, that I have right now, and use it to pay my fees. That's about it.
Perfect.
And the other thing, coming back to the visa, so they require a lot of documents for I-20,
Yep.
right? So one of the documents that I require is financial proof. I went to the bank to get the financial proof documents, and now the Duke has provided us their own format,
Okay.
right? And the bank managers, they are quite adamant with that.
Oh.
There's a lot of persuasion that is going on. Please give your signatures and verify this particular format itself. I do not need your format that your bank operates in. I need this format. And Duke wants the amount to be in dollars. The bank did not agree.
Right.
The bank said, you do not have a foreign account, you don't have a dollar account. How can we even verify a dollar amount? We're only gonna verify your INR amount.
Yep.
So it's all going over. I'll probably sort it out in a day or two.
हो जाएगा फिर.
हो जाएगा.
हाँ, ठीक है.
होना ही चाहिए. नहीं होगा तो
हो जाएगा.
होना ही चाहिए. नहीं हुआ तो अटक जाएगा.
And एक point वो है ही नहीं, जैसा अभी हम ऑफर की बात कर रहे थे, ऑफर ही आएगा तो हो जाएगा. It's great. Positivity. ठीक है. Great. Perfect. तो डॉक्यूमेंट्स पहले से ही सॉर्ट करना कुछ शुरू नहीं किया था, अभी बस हम सॉर्ट करें once you.
इतने भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है कि पहले से सॉर्ट करके रखो.
हाँ.
वीजा जब आप कॉलेज एप्लीकेशंस भर रहे हो तभी आपको कितने डॉक्यूमेंट्स सॉर्ट करने ही पड़ते हैं.
हाँ, तभी तो
कितने सॉर्ट हो गए होते हैं.
हाँ.
अभी वीजा एप्लीकेशन के लिए फाइनेंशियल डॉक्यूमेंट्स अगर आप सेल्फ फाइनेंस कर रहे हो तो फिर तो चाहिए.
हाँ.
मैं सेल्फ फाइनेंस नहीं कर रहा हूँ तो मेरे को सिर्फ लोन एप्लीकेशन के लिए चाहिए था. बट मेरा लोन प्रोसेस मैंने 4 महीने पहले शुरू कर दिया था. नॉट एज एन प्रोसेस बट माई I started interacting with them, started interacting with the banks, started coming from the same background. I had this Excel sheet prepared with myself. This year, this much interest, this particular bank, this particular EMI, total interest, what's gonna be the monthly EMI.
I'm impressed by this research skill. Great.
I have this sheet prepared, so I keep on, on a call I just change the interest rate. If he says that he's going to be interested of 12%, I just change the interest and I have the entire summary in front of me. What's going to be the total interest cost at the end of the term. So I started the process there. I just got approval today in the morning itself from one of the banks.
वहाँ जाके पार्ट टाइम जॉब स्टार्ट करना है?
No. So Duke has very strategically and specifically they have mentioned that the program is so rigorous that it would take almost 50 hours of your time in a week.
Okay.
There's no time left for you to work. So it's better to bring your funds with you. And that's the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mentally prepared?
Yes.
Perfect.
Always happy.
ठीक है. But वहाँ पे तो any which is you will strive in for the best, right?
Yeah, I feel like 1 करोड़ खर्च रहे हो तो उसका ROI पूरा निकालो.
हाँ, absolutely.
6-7 लाख रुपया और कमा के 10 महीने में कुछ मिलने वाला है नहीं. 1 करोड़ खर्च रहे हो उतना पढ़ लो कि बाद में 1.5 करोड़ की नौकरी मिल जाए. नहीं तो 1 करोड़ की मिलेगी 50 लाख का नुकसान हो जाएगा. बढ़िया माइंडसेट लेके चलो काम बन जाएंगे.
Perfect. Great, yeah. So ठीक है. At ACE My Prep I believe मतलब see it's your career and future. every student comes with a dream कि यार यहाँ जाना है, and to make that a reality, it's a very big thing, and you are here, you're sitting with us. So to start with, or maybe to start the ending with, I would say कि what was that X factor at Ace My Prep that even made you stick with us or choose us in the first point itself?
Such a genuine question, to be very honest. Before you guys, there was some company, and not remember their name as of now. So they were offering something that just pay 200 and start consulting.
Okay.
I paid 200 and all right. Let's start consulting. I consulted with them. So it was a Masters of Finance in Canada itself.
Okay.
And it's gonna sound funny for you guys because you get offers from Northeastern as well. So that particular counselor, she told me that, she asked me which all universities are you applying for. I said Shulek is also on my list. Shulek? Oh my god. If I get an admit from Shulek, I would be glad. I was like, oh, इतनी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी भी नहीं है यार. हार्वर्ड तो नहीं मैंने बोल दिया. So that how it was.
So that put a question mark in you कि यार.
Yes. And it was kind of a fishy process as well. So they said we're not going to charge anything.
Basically,
but ₹200 आपने दे दिया, उसके बाद we do not need anything from you. I said okay. I googled. Fortunately, I live just 10 kilometers. Your office is 10 kilometers from my place. So it came on the list itself. I read your reviews. You have 5-star rating from almost 1,000 plus reviews. Something that is not achievable easily. And I decided.
You should write one. Have you written a review?
No.
यही तो बात है.
I will. So I reached out to one of your counselors in here, and I had a physical meeting. I came into your office almost a year back. I met him. He guided me through the process. I came in for a data analyst position itself, right, for Canada. So that's how it has been, and the entire process was really great. After I got 630 in my GMAT, I called Dhruv bhai कि भाई अब क्या करना है? अब तो 630 आया, अब तो जिन यूनिवर्सिटीज को टारगेट करे थे वो 700 प्लस है, अब क्या कर सकते हैं? ध्रुव भाई was still very confident कि हो जाएगा, प्रोफाइल अच्छी है, कर लेंगे. 630 है, तो रिजेक्ट किया, एक्सेप्ट किया, मैंने रिजेक्ट कर दिया है. कहते लेट्स गो फॉर सेकंड अटेम्प्ट. मैंने कहा यस,
ठीक है,
लेट्स प्रिपेयर फॉर दैट. अब मैं डिलीजेंटली प्रिपेयर करता हूँ. ऐसे ऐसे भी आई नो माय वीक पॉइंट्स नाउ. आल्सो आई फॉल्टेड जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ माय स्लीप, बिकॉज पहले मॉक में माय फर्स्ट एवर मॉक दैट आई गेव ऑन GMAT, I scored 720 there. People say the mocks are not very realistic because you keep on giving mocks and you only quote the mock which you have got the highest marks in, right?
Yeah.
If I attended 3 mocks and the 4th mock I get the 720, that's doable because mocks में question repeat होते हैं. GMAT के mocks होते हैं, उसमें question repeat होते हैं.
Yeah.
But it was my first ever mock.
So did
question repeat ही नहीं हुआ था उसमें.
Did we become overconfident post that?
No. I got 720 there. It was the first week of July. I did not become overconfident, but I did not study a lot after that. I stopped. If I was putting 5-6 hours on a weekend, I cut that short to almost in half. Also, it was a bull run that the markets were seeing. There was a lot of pressure from that side as well, that you have to make quick gains here. So my consideration went there, and exam, I attempted for the exam in the first week of August, and there I faltered. Probably wouldn't have faltered this much. A deviation of almost 80-90 points is way too much, but it probably was because of the lack of sleep.
Yeah, but Dhruv has always been very supportive and been there for his students always.
Yeah.
मतलब ठीक है, कोई नहीं, हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, पर एप्टीट्यूड से एक्चुअली हो जाता है.
इनके
सी
दुबई की दुकान पे सरस्वती हमेशा बैठते हैं.
सी श्री के केस में भी आई स्टिल रिमेंबर बिकॉज व्हेन वी हैड द फाइनल शॉर्ट लिस्ट वी हैड टू रीइंस्टेट द GMAT. उसके बिना हम नहीं कर पाते थे बिकॉज वी हैड टू सेंड द स्कोर टू Fordham and UMCP as well, right?
UMCP and Duke.
Duke we sent the that scored GMAT. That for Fordham, we required the West, and West के लिए भी the problem that we had was कि पहले connect किया हमने उनके साथ भी, right?
Yeah.
Because West के लिए हमारे पास time था नहीं. And then
we had Canada West.
हाँ, Canada. The only thing is Canada West को हमारा US West में convert करना was difficult.
Yeah.
Second thing is the universities clearly mentioned कि अगर Canada West है तो हम career case में accept कर लेते हैं उस चीज़ को, right? So we just wanted a simple written confirmation, but we are not getting it. So we connected with the university directly. They said कि West की अभी need है ही नहीं तुमको. Don't go with West. हम लोग बाद में कर लेंगे. This is like a requirement which is now optional. So that was a sigh of relief for us. Then we put the application for Fordham over there, right? Talking about GMAT, reinstate किया because हमें score भेजने थे, right? और reinstate हो ही चुका था GMAT. Then we figure out कि ठीक है reinstate हो ही चुका है. Duke दिमाग में आ ही रहा है, कर देते हैं apply. Because अगर reinstate नहीं हुआ तो Duke apply नहीं कर रहे होते हम लोग. So again connecting the dots. We reinstated the GMAT score. Then we had one thing in my mind. He had one thing in his mind कि Duke apply करना ही है. Then we had multiple things ready with us to apply for Duke University and eventually did. So that was the journey here.
Perfect. तो ठीक है, Shri Hari, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate this journey?
20. Why just settle at 10?
100 ही कर दो फिर.
ले लो.
ठीक है. Perfect.
बनिया का जहाँ पैसा नहीं जा रहा बनिया से आप.
The baniya comes in between. ठीक है. Great. Yeah. Okay. Few words for your CS.
I think it would be very hard for me to describe Dhruv bhai in just few words. I can probably speak about him the entire evening. from the first day forward, yeah. His mindset is pretty clear. He has way more clarity than
Agreed.
He has way more clarity on different aspects, not just the university, but in the entire dilemma of life, right? What should be doing, what should not be doing. Even when I got the admit from Duke in the list track, सामने से बोल दिया मेरे को, just don't accept the offer because Duke से आ गया है. हमारे पास अच्छे offers हैं. अगर finance domain में जाना अच्छे offers हैं. Let's talk with them. अगर track change करते हैं. Let's talk to other people. जिन्होंने ये track किया, still they were able to, grab the job opportunities that I'm looking forward to. So his entire clarity in the entire domain and his grit to work even at post his job obligations work hours. 4 बजे बैठ के ड्यूक का SOP लिख रहे हैं हम सुबह के
4 बजे
और सुबह के 6 बजे उठ के तो he was probably away for almost 22 hours.
But it's
still not agitated.
Yes.
So it's commendable.
Yes.
Not something that everybody can pull it off.
Again, ये वही बोलना. See, we are dealing in with somebody's career and future.
Yeah,
It's not a small thing. And if it takes us like from our end to go an extra mile, we will. जब सामने से student भी intent दिखा रहा है,
It's like a very cumulative thing.
Exactly. अगर आप नहीं दिखा रहे थे, if you had a laid back approach as well, we would also have been a bit skeptical कि हम अगर डालेंगे, is it even worth taking that extra mile or not? Great. But your overall journey was great.
Yeah. Just rated you 100 out of 10.
Perfect. And any genuine feedback that you would want to share for Ace My Prep?
A genuine feedback will be where even I had a bit of problems, as I said, with the editorial team.
Yes.
I had given this. You have different templates for students to write their
Yes.
the pointers and all
SOP pointers
from which the editorial team picks it up. So I had given that general pointers in a separate document that you provide and specific pointers as per the question that the university has asked. So what I realized over 2 or 3 edits was that the editorial team did not even see the SOP, the journal SOP. Okay. The journal SOP document. They were just drafting from what I have provided. And that was not very acceptable with me because I was hoping that they were gonna take a holistic approach, and the draft was also very drafted in a way that a 10th standard student can do that. Okay. But with different edits overall, different pointers.
कितने re-edits थे? Because we mentioned about multiple re-edits.
Rochester में सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आया था. Rochester में 5 या 6 edits के बाद I was finally.
But were you satisfied?
Yeah. At the end, I was satisfied that this is what I wanted. I have this. That is where I think the story ended. And also the second point was that the college application filling team, the team that fills in the college applications from your resume, they take from resume, right? So what I felt that it was much more like a copy paste kind of a scenario there. They do
उसमें
not
कुछ
put
problem
their
face-
heart into. Yeah, a lot. Somewhere I was, said as a female in one application. Rather than male, I was said as a female. In one of the applications, my experience, a job experience that I had, it was not written in a way that it is written in a resume. So if I have worked with KPMG for almost 1.5 years, right? So it has to be meant to be shown separately.
Absolutely.
Ease and WebTech experience had to be shown separately. I had 2 different experiences, 2 different job roles that I have.
Yes,
I've held at ESA. So those 2 must have been shown separately. So it was not done in such a way. And also the roles that you had in your job obligation and the work that you were doing, that the pointers that we write on our resumes, those were the first 2 pointers were just copied and pasted. It was not like a way wherein they would sit and think that like probably this pointer does not go best with this particular application. We should put this one. So that particular thought process was not there with the application team. So I with over my course of reviewing 6 college applications, I reasoned this out that just copy and paste the thing that I need from the resume and just do it.
So basically, I mean, these are the sort of shortcomings that we had, right? But as soon as we gradually moved like up in the process, पहले तो applications में we faced something that eventually श्री को लगा कि हाँ इसमें ये चीज़ हमने ठीक से नहीं दिखाई है. This is something which is written जो ठीक नहीं है, right? But with multiple feedbacks, I would say वो gradually चीज़ improve होती गई. So by the time we submitted our last application, there was nothing missing in the application as well as in the SOPs. So things were like eventually होता ही ऐसे because अगर the team is handling multiple applications, sometimes they feel कि ठीक है ये information हम लोग ने डाल दी but we corrected them, right?
Yep.
And this is our duty as well because we need the applications to be like submitted with like full potential, I would say, right? We need to ace the application, that what we do for all the students. So gradually जब वो चीज़ improve हुई, then we also felt the sigh of relief and we were also confident that now we're going on the right track and now we can at least get good at it. Right? So it is absolutely a cumulative role for the entire team.
Also, what I think this is a shortcoming of industry per se. Like in a service industry, the client basically expects rather 120% from the company is availing these services, right? So in a real scenario, it's not really their job, their role to draft my college application form in a way that I desired it to be. Right? That is why you offer this opportunity or you have this step in the entire process where the candidate itself reviews its application.
Yes.
So I think it's not a very shortcoming thing at ASMA Prep, but it's also a personal touch.
Something that can be worked upon.
It cannot be. You probably guys, you definitely try to work upon it. But what I'm saying is, it's not your shortcoming. It's the expectations that we clients seek, right? And at times it is over expectations. In my case, now I feel it's probably was over expectation when I talk about the drafting of the college application, because what I want it to be there, the other person might not see it from the same perspective.
The perspective is different.
He does not come from the same background.
Exactly.
Right? I come from that background. I know what job obligations or what particular thing should be mentioned in this particular question, right? He might not see it from the same eye.
Same lens.
It's not really a shortcoming thing, but this is something that I experienced, so I just set it up.
Absolutely, as even you mentioned, service-based industry, and the journey would never be just flowery.
Yes.
It would go up, it would go down as well. The whole thing is, how long is there the understanding between even the student and the counselor? We are ready to work on it as well and proceed in the correct way possible, right? Rather than अगर सोच लो if at all the scenario was कि we are blaming on each other कि उसने गलत किया इसने सही किया, वो process कहीं पे loses a charm.
That is where things go wrong.
ठीक है, perfect. So to end the podcast, Shri Hari, I would want you to tell the viewers what all the US aspirants, any pointers, any message from your end for all the US aspirants.
So if you are planning to go to US, what I would be very adamant to be precise is that be very sure where you are applying, be very sure about your background, be very sure of your skills that you're taking forward. Cracking a university is just first step on the ladder. You still have 10 more steps to go. And those steps are not gonna be easy just because you are graduating from a good university, in my case, like from graduating from DU. It's just the first step. The other 10 steps up the ladder will only come from your skills, from your knowledge, and from your perseverance. It's never gonna be easy. And we Indians, we are socially exploited in a way that we get our breakfast made for us. We get our teas, we get our everything on right beside on a work table, right? That's not gonna be an easy task starting in United States. You'll have to wash your own clothes, you'll have to cook your food, you have to prepare your meals and also plan your meals. Something that we are not habitual of. It's gonna be a difficult journey up there. But as you're starting your journey in India, working towards that goal, just be very sure where you are right now and where you want to be. Chalk out the points, talk to people at Ace My Prep. They have a lot of guidance that they can offer to you. I'm not endorsing them because they're paying me for it, rather I have paid them for it, but that's how it is. If I can do it, even you can do it. And GMAT is not the barrier. I think my story can help you know that. 630 GMAT, you can still crack you. Never thought about it, it's possible.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank
Shri
you.
Hari. Thank you, Dhruv.
Thank you.